Well, shit. Subnautica, a game where I have crash landed on a planet completely made up of water. Or so I thought. Join me as I try to explore this planet's deepest trenches, learn all about its diverse wildlife, and uncover the secrets that this world holds, all within 100 days. And before my 100 days are up, I need to escape this planet and return home. This adventure started, well, with a crash landing. My ship crash landed into this planet, so I used an escape pod to save my life. While doing so, I got knocked out, and when I woke up, my escape pod was on fire and everything was broken. I quickly put out the fire and booted up my iPad, which told me that I had suffered head trauma, which was optimal apparently. I then went outside to see the area that I landed in. Surprise, surprise, all I could see was water. I dove in, and immediately my survival instincts kicked in, and I started gathering materials. While doing so, I realized how quickly I lose oxygen and just how annoying the start of this journey would be. I swam around, grabbing everything I saw, and then I returned back to the life pod and crafted some weapons and other tools that would help me. Using the repair tool, I fixed up my pod. I then made some fins to swim quicker, and I then swam around and scanned a bunch of stuff so I could learn everything about the area I was stuck in. As I was swimming around, I came across a fish that didn't look too friendly, so I left it alone. On my way back from gathering things, I got a radio signal from another life pod, which gave me hope there were other survivors.
This is Life Pod 3, uploading our coordinates. We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide, so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously. 3 out.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
The life pod was quite far, so I made a sea glide to help me swim around faster. I also made a new oxygen tank so that I could stay under longer. And then I set out to meet with the other survivors. When I got there, I saw that their life pod had sank to the bottom, and I no longer believed that they were alive. I scanned everything I could and grabbed everything from the pod, and then immediately set out to another life pod that I got a radio signal from. On my way there, I saw something that was absolutely massive. I was scared for a bit, but swam up to it and realized that it was peaceful. I then went down to the life pod and scanned some sea moth fragments, and then left to go back to my pod. I spent the next day swimming around and gathering resources for a rebreather. I also learned that somehow I could make an entire water bottle, plastic and all, out of one fish, which was cool, I guess. Later on, I got another signal from a ship that might be able to save me, but they wouldn't be here for a while.
Aurora, do you read? Over. Nothing but vacuum. These Altera ships. They run low on engine grease, send an SOS, you offer to help, they don't pick up. Aurora, I'm out on the far side of the system. It's gonna take more than a week to reach your position. Do you still need our assistance? Over. I'll try them again tomorrow. Damn charter's gonna have us blowing our credits running errands for Altera. See what the long-range scans pick up in the meantime.
That night, I got an alert that the ship I came in was going to blow up, and blow up it did. I learned the radiation suit to protect me from the radiation from the ship, and quickly worked on making that. While swimming around and getting materials for the radiation suit, I explored a bunch of new areas and found new debris fields which had fragments for a lot of new things. One of those things was the sea moth, which immediately caught my attention, and I ended up making that instead.
Mode of transport, but remember that swimming is good for your glutes and endorphin levels.
With my new ability to go even deeper, I went to Life Pod 19, which was 300 meters down, but it was better to go there with this than the sea glide. After that, I went to the Aurora rendezvous point, which said it was on dry land, which I just didn't believe since I thought this entire planet was covered in water. So, you can imagine my surprise when I got there and saw this.
What? What the fuck?
I explored this entire island, scanning all of the buildings here, which were left by an old crew that crash landed here years before me. After getting everything I possibly could from the island, I went back to my pod and listened to another radio signal. I went to this life pod, and it was in an area that I had no interest in being in. It was filled with these glowing stingray things and mushroom trees, but it turned out that they were friendly, and I went to the pod. After that, I made the radiation suit and the habitat builder. I then made a multi-purpose room, which I planned on making my main base of operations because I was tired of my little life pod. I made a solar panel for it to have power, and I made a radio and a fabricator, and then put a locker next to them for some storage. The next thing I made was a fish tank, and I went out to find a fish to put in it. I grabbed this innocent peeper and trapped him in my tank.
I am under the water. Please help me.
Then I got bored, and I wanted to go to the main ship to see what it had for me. I didn't know where the entrance was, and I paid the price for that. As I got closer, I heard some noises that had to be coming from something much bigger than what I've seen so far. I got closer to the ship, took a look at the amazing textures of it, and then my screen started to shake. I then saw the tail of something massive. I turned to see what it was and saw my first ever Leviathan. It grabbed me and shook me around until my Seamoth almost broke. Luckily, it let go and I was barely able to swim away. I stopped to repair my submarine and went to the other side of the ship to see if there was an entrance there because I wanted to stay as far away from this giant angry worm as possible. I eventually got into the ship and explored everything I possibly could. I scanned everything in sight and eventually reached a dead end where I needed the propulsion cannon to continue. However, I had other ideas. As I explored the rest of the ship, I came across a big room with a bunch of things that I needed to repair, so I quickly did that. Afterwards, I explored a bit more, but did eventually come to an actual dead end that I needed a laser cutter to get through, so I left to go back and make one. On my way back to my Seamoth, I saw that I can scan myself with the scanner. This option was probably there before, but I'm just dumb and didn't see it. When I scanned myself, it said I was infected. I had no clue what this meant, but it added another layer of fear and mystery to this planet. Now, on top of getting out of here, I need to figure out how to cure myself. When I got back to my base, I had another radio signal. It was a ship that said they would come to get me. I had 40 minutes to get to where they would be, and with the time I had left over, I decided to expand my base a bit. I figured if I was leaving, the next people to come here should be able to get some inspiration for my builds. I also added some windows next to the fish tank so this peeper could watch his other fish friends swim around freely while he is forced to swim in circles for the rest of eternity. I also needed to name him, but I never did, so I'll leave that up to you guys. May the best name win. With around 30 minutes left, I went to go and see exactly where they would be landing. It was another island. This one, unlike the last, was a giant mountain. As I walked onto this island, I saw this, an alien structure. Now I knew I was no longer alone on this planet, however, I was the only human. After seeing this building, I got another radio signal. I went back to the base to see who it was, thinking that it would be the people coming for me. However, when I went to listen to it, I heard this.
9 new biological subjects designated. Mode. Hunting. Analyzing. Sharing subject locations with other agents.
I then went back to the island because I needed to get out of here. When I got there, I found this cave. I explored it fully and even got a bit lost. I got out eventually, and with a purple tablet that I found, I opened the main door. I explored this building, grabbing everything I could, and then went out to wait out the night for the ship to arrive. As it got closer, I heard a weird noise coming from the building. I looked, and suddenly it looked a lot less like a building and more like a cannon. Sure enough, I was right, and...
It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
Well, there goes any hope I had of making it out of here. I then went back into the building and found the control room. I pressed a button, then this thing came out and stabbed me. I was told that I can't disable the weapon because I'm infected, and that the planet is under quarantine. After that I left, determined to figure out how to cure myself because if I wanted to get off this planet, I needed to disable the cannon. After taking some time to explore, I found this cave full of pink glowing mushroom looking things with these long worms swimming around. In this cave, I came across another structure. This one was also from the crew that crash landed here before me. With this, I became very interested in their story. They were exploring here, and I'm assuming moved to a place that's deeper. After I got back to my base, I did some more expanding. I built a moon pool so that I could hold my sea moth, but little did I know this would cause my entire base to flood because it wasn't secure enough. I needed to reinforce the walls, and quickly. After doing that, I repaired the building and the water was drained.
Draining systems initiated.
Then I built a scanner room, which I never used, so I really don't know why I made it. After that, I gathered materials so that I could make a laser cutter and propulsion cannon, so that I had everything I needed to go through the Aurora ship. With these, I went and explored the rest of the ship. I learned the prawn suit, which I didn't end up building for a while after this, which I kinda regret, not gonna lie. After I finished exploring, I left the ship, but on my way out, I saw this, and it was blocking the way I needed to go to get to the next life pod so that I could progress through the story. I tried sneaking around it, but it saw me and started chasing. Luckily, I was quick enough to get away. After I explored the life pod, I went around getting fragments for the Cyclops, which is an awesome submarine.
New blueprint acquired.
My next goal was, well, yeah, making the awesome huge sub that could go way deeper than my little ball could. This took a long time, but it eventually got done and I had a new vehicle. Took some time to explore my new sub and then came across this panel. I named my sub the SS Tyler because, as I said many times in my last 100 days video, which if you haven't watched please do, but like after this one, I'm not creative at all with names. I then took it for a spin, crashing into many things because of how big this thing is. On my journey, let's say I got lucky. As I was going to new depths, I decided to use my external camera to see under me. When I did so, I saw this. I quickly bolted out of there, but with my luck, not even 3 minutes later, I ran right into another one.
Oh, hello there!
This one was out for blood, and it wanted only to sink my sub. However, it didn't actually get any good bites in, and I was able to get away. I eventually got back to my base and realized that it had been a while since I got my last radio signal. That's when it hit me that the rest of the game was going to be me on my own having to figure out where to go and what to do. On my iPad, I found a thing telling me about some alien base locations. I figured this would be my next objective, but in order to get to these places, I needed to upgrade my vehicles. So I made a vehicle upgrade station and a modification station. Now, before I went to these next alien places, I wanted to do some more side things. The idea I had was that going to these alien bases would lead me to the end of the game. So before doing that, I wanted to go to the last base of the people on the Degassi that were here before me. I eventually located their final base, which was in a terrifying area. It had these big jellyfish, octopus things that could disable my sea moth at any moment. After some difficulty, I eventually was able to learn the end of their story. They too were infected, but before they could do anything, they were killed by a leviathan that one of them had brought back to the base to do some tests on. After that, it was time for me to grind out the materials to upgrade everything so that I could go to deeper areas. I'll spare you the boring part of me going around and getting materials. After I got all the stuff I needed, I went to make the prawn suit. Wait, what happened to the recording? So yeah, the recording of me making the prawn suit got corrupted. In that recording, I also made the final depth upgrade and the shock upgrade for my sea moth. I also made a better oxygen tank. After I made the prawn suit, I needed to upgrade it. In order to do that, I needed nickel, which I eventually learned was in an area that was the scariest one I had been in so far. This area was filled with brine pools which are extremely toxic, and it had a bunch of things that wanted to kill me. I was able to sneak past everything and eventually got what I needed. Before I left, I came across this. Another alien base. I didn't even mean to find this one, but if it gets me closer to escaping this planet, I'm not complaining. As I was exploring this place, this happened. The infection was getting worse, like a lot worse. I was able to sneak out of there unharmed and made a depth upgrade for the prawn suit. Turns out I needed more nickel, so I went back to the area that I now knew was called the Lost River. On my way out, I saw something big. I got out of there as fast as I could, and when I got back, I made the next depth upgrade for my Cyclops. Then I wanted to make another upgrade for the prawn suit, but guess what? I needed to go back to the Lost River. On my way down, I saw it again, a Leviathan. I stayed very far away and was able to escape safely. On my way back, I went around looking for fragments of the grapple arm for the prawn suit. On my search, I came across some sea treaders, which were terrifying at first, but they were pretty chill. After I made the grapple arm, I went back to the Lost River to find another alien base that I saw. This time, I saw the Leviathan up close, but it left me alone. I found the base, got everything I could from there, and left. With all my new upgrades, I figured I was ready for the next alien base. I loaded my prawn suit into the Cyclops and set out to the depths. On my way there, the Ghost Leviathan attacked me, but I was able to use decoys to get it away from me. I went deeper and eventually made it to lava. It wasn't too scary down here though, since all I could see were warpers. That was until I started moving deeper and heard something big growling. That's when I decided to use my prawn suit for the rest and explore this area. As I was going in, I looked up and saw this. And it saw me. In a panic, I ran as fast as I could using my grappling hook. I eventually got lost in this cave looking for the alien base because I just wasn't seeing the massive blocky structure that I was used to, until I eventually found this door. I explored the base and eventually came across this. I put an ion cube in and activated a portal. Having no idea where this led, I did the smartest thing I could think of and went through it. And to my surprise, it dumped me out right at the first alien base. Now that I had an easier way to access the lava area, I went back and brought my Cyclops home. Then I came back in my prawn suit to explore the rest of this area. I found an area that was even deeper, and I wasn't too sure if that's where I wanted to go until I got this.
I am what you seek. Want to help you.
Now I figured I had no choice. I had to continue on. I explored this area where there was another massive Leviathan, but I ran from it and made it to the next alien base. I walked up the ramp and found out that this is where they were testing the virus that was sweeping the planet. However, all tests had been stopped and they evacuated. I scanned everything I could and activated more portals that led me all around the map. After using a blue tablet to open this door, I found this room. Terrified of what I might find, I jumped into the water. That's when this happened.
Are you here to play? Others came here once. They built these walls. They played alone. They bored me. Now they're gone. And instead, we have you. We are curious whether you swim with the current or fight against it as they did.
This massive Leviathan wanted me to help her hatch her young, so that they could escape this cage that they were trapped in. She also said that if I helped, she would give me the cure for the virus. In order to make what I needed to go through the portals and find the ingredients. I found the first one inside of this cage, then I went through the other portals and found the rest. After making it, I came back and hatched the eggs.
My young are swimming for the shallows. I thank you. Their freedom is my end. What will it be like, I wonder, to go to sleep and never wake up? Perhaps next we meet, I will be an ocean current, carrying seas to a new land. Or a creature so small, it sees the gaps between the grains of sand. Farewell, friend.
The babies spit out these little orange balls, and after touching one, I was cured. I then left so that I could disable the weapon on this planet so that no one had to get stuck here like I did. Little did I know, this really wouldn't help out much. I eventually made it to the control room and shut it down. The entire building went dark, and now I had one thing left to do. Leave. But in order to do so, I needed to make a rocket. Once again, making this was really boring, and it was just me going around and getting materials for hours, so I'll skip those parts for you. First, I made the platform for the rocket. Afterwards, I made the arm thing that holds the rocket and lets me get inside. After that, it was the thrusters, then the fuel reserve, and then finally, the pod for me to sit in. I named my rocket Betsy, and gave it the coolest colors ever because if I was leaving, I was going out in style. Then I went back and docked my prawn suit in the Cyclops and shut off all of the lights in it. Then I docked my sea moth in my moon pool and walked over to say goodbye to my unnamed fish who would be stuck here for the rest of time.
Don't leave me here! My mouth! My God!
Then I went up to the rocket. I powered up all the systems in the rocket, made a time capsule with a screenshot that I took of the sky because I had no others, and I put my knife and some more stuff in there. And with that, I took off. Happy to be leaving, but sad that I would be leaving this beautifully terrifying world behind.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time capsule jettisoned. Caution, approaching orbital debris field. Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver. Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.